OU resolves its troubles over a famous painting. Tobacco ads stop as the Attorney General investigates, and the state steps in to try to stop all those earthquakes. This is OU Nightly. Enough is enough. State regulators have taken strong action to try to stop a recent swarm of earthquakes in north-central Oklahoma.
The Corporation Commission has ordered energy companies in the heart of quake country to shut down some injection wells and reduce the impacts from others. The areas hardest hit by the most recent earthquake activity are North and West Oklahoma City. An astounding 33 quakes have hit the area in the past 5 days alone. One of those, on November 30th, registered 4.7 on the Richter scale. That ties for the strongest Oklahoma earthquake since 2011. So strong that it shook people awake throughout northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. In response, the Corporation Commission targeted the suspected cause of the earthquakes, the disposal of wastewater generated by the energy industry. The commission ordered 7 injection wells completely shut down and directed more than 100 other wells to reduce the volume of wastewater being injected into the ground by 25 to 50%.
And OU has resolved another difficult issue that has painted the university in a bad light. This painting, Shepherdess Bringing in Sheep, was stolen by Nazis during World War II. After changing hands several times, its last owner donated it to OU's Fred Jones Museum. But a former owner sued the university to try to get it back. OU says it has finally reached a resolution with the plaintiff, but it did not release any details.
You're looking at a live shot of the scoreboard at OU's Memorial Stadium. We are just minutes away from that scoreboard coming down later this afternoon to make way for the South End Zone renovation project. This follows the announcement that a Kansas steel company dropped its lawsuit against OU. HME Steel was the low bidder for the project, but it did not get the job. OU said the company lacked stadium building experience. The company did not say why it abandoned its suit. If that demolition starts during this broadcast, we'll return to this live shot.
And I know originally they were going to tear it down at 4. It's kind of, that they're waiting. It's going to get colder out there. The sun's going down. The temperatures are going to drop. So those crews are going to have to battle that cold weather.
The weather's been pretty consistently. Let's see if we can expect that maybe throughout this weekend as well. Sawyer?
Yeah, that's right, Ashley. So it has been pretty consistent, and it's going to stay consistent throughout the 7-day, which I'll show in just a little bit. So looking at our visible satellite outside, not really any clouds over the Oklahoma area, just a few high clouds. There are some clouds and some storms off to the north and west, but they're going to stay to the north and west. And then also down into the to the southeast, you do have some clouds down there. So looking at our current temps outside, upper 50s, lower 60s across the entire state. And coming up in weather, it's going to be a windy Friday, near normal temps for the entire 7-day, and that drought is nearly gone. I'll have more on that coming up in weather. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sawyer. And thousands of people across Oklahoma are still without power after that Thanksgiving ice storm. Officials say it may be another week before the lights and the heat come back on. More than 150,000 were without power at the peak of the storm. OG&E says more than 13,000 customers are still without electricity, most of those in the metro. Dozens of crews have also been out in El Reno, Mustang, and Union City since Monday.
The Attorney General is warning against scammers targeting homes and businesses damaged by the ice storm, offering services such as debris cleanup or home repair. Here are a few red flags to look out for. Contractors who solicit for work door to door, offer referral discounts, only accept cash payments, or ask you to pay for the entire job up front. If you feel you are being targeted, you are urged to call the Attorney General's Consumer Protection. That number is at the bottom of your screen.
And Hunter McKee is in the News Center with new details on the tragic mass shooting in San Bernardino, California. Hunter?
BJ, we have more news from San Bernardino. We now know that the two shooters, Syed Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, were married. It is believed that the couple was in touch with terrorism groups. According to law officials, Farouk contacted people under investigation for terrorism by phone and Facebook. The two suspects killed 14 people at a party at the county health department. And President Obama says he's confident that the United States is safe against ISIS attacks. Even though we're getting close to the holiday season, when danger might be prone to strike, Obama believes we are equipped and well prepared. And big news for women in the military. Defense Secretary Ash Carter announced today that all U.S. military combat positions are now opening up for women. This decision allows 220,000 jobs to be filled by women that prior were limited to men. These jobs include infantry, armor, reconnaissance, and some special operations units. And Olympian Oscar Pistorius is likely headed back to prison. An appeals court overturned the manslaughter conviction and found Pistorius guilty of murder. Bijan?
Thank you, Hunter. OU student government president-elect Daniel Pay is looking for students to fill his cabinet. But as our Dylan Jasna shows us, it might be hard attracting people to help run an organization that some feel is no longer relevant and that many others don't even know exists.
I've never heard of SGA.
No, I don't. What do they do?
I have no clue.
I know I have a friend in it.
Inform me.
So they're the Student Government Association.
Of course.
So you didn't vote in the election, did you?
I have not voted because I'm not registered here in Norman. I'm registered in out of town.
There is a disconnect between SGA and the student body right now. Not many students know about SGA or know about its potential, and we want to really challenge that status quo.
That might be a bigger challenge than Pay thinks. Out of the 13 students I interviewed, only one knew what SGA was, and she says it was because of the recent elections.
I don't really hear about them until elections comes and we have to vote for a new SGA president. But I mean, I have faith that this semester it might actually change.
Pay says more can be done to serve students, but it won't happen overnight.
Certainly there's plenty of room for us to really go out there and communicate our message and our ideas. I think it just takes persistence. You're not going to change everything overnight.
Dylan Jasna, OU Nightly.
Only 1 in 10 OU students voted in the election.
Still ahead on OU Nightly, the state attorney general investigates tobacco ads in Norman.
Plus a new study about infant safety. Your child's crib may be deadly.
The tobacco ads are down at a Norman convenience store being investigated by the state attorney general. The state took interest in October when OU Nightly began looking into tobacco advertising at The Cube. OU Nightly's Tyler Jones shows us why the state wants the ads stopped for good.
The Master Settlement Agreement was a settlement of 46 states where 46 states came together and combined their lawsuits against the tobacco industry for various practices that they were convicted of.
One of those practices is advertising to kids. A month and a half ago, the newest convenience store in Norman, The Cube, appeared to be in violation of the Master Settlement Agreement with their tobacco advertisements. And that's what the Attorney General is trying to find out. The state's tobacco settlement project manager in Norman says her concerns as a mom go beyond her job.
I don't want my kids to think this is something that's okay to do because they're counting on the adults to guide them in the right directions. And if us as adults are putting these displays out and showing look, you can do this, and here's this image of this fun animal advertising it, it's just really misleading.
Health officials know the tobacco industry has a history of using bright colors and flavors to appeal to kids. OU Nightly contacted an owner of The Cube who denied to comment on their tobacco advertisements or the pending investigation, but he did acknowledge that they may have been in violation of the MSA in October when OU Nightly began its investigation. Tyler Jones, OU Nightly.
And Aaliyah Covington joins us in studio with Health Beat. And Aaliyah, startling news about bananas and a possible extinction.
Yeah, Tropical Race 4. Now, that's not the latest video game, Bijan, but it's actually the fungus endangering bananas worldwide. Researchers say deadly fungus could destroy the $11 billion banana industry within decades. The fungus was first detected in Asia and is spreading globally. Research also shows quarantine methods have been performed but not have been successful. Doctors want parents to stop using crib bumpers after a significant increase in infant deaths. Authors of the study researched infant deaths since 1985 and found the number has tripled in the last 7 years. Of suffocation deaths recorded, 67% were by a bumper alone and 33% occurred when a baby was wedged between the bumper and another object. The American Academy of Pediatrics advises parents against using them or any other soft bedding. Norman's Griffin Hospital has started embracing its dark past. It's informing people of its bright future by giving people free tours of an abandoned hall. OU Nightly's Lindsay Gomez reports what Griffin's frightening history really is.
Caged rooms, lobotomies, electric shock and insulin shock therapy, restraints, and hydrotherapy. These are all things that were used at Griffin Memorial Hospital in the 1920s and 30s.
Lobotomies was a treatment that was used. They split the hemispheres of the brain, basically disconnect the frontal lobe.
But things are different now.
The things that were being used then that people still think are commonplace now because of old movies, because of the way we talk about things, those are long gone.
Over the past decades, treatment methods have gone from this to this. Modern psychiatric treatment is more talking than cutting.
Let's say for depression, it's going to be used a combination of medications that are highly effective and psychotherapy, talk therapy.
No longer are patients warehoused for years at a time. Instead, doctors can now effectively treat people in a week or so. The most common type of treatment option keeps patients out of the hospital rooms.
What we call outpatient treatment at the community level, or community level of treatment. So you'll be going to see your doc on a regular basis, you'll be taking your medications, you'll be receiving what other types of therapies are necessary to keep you well and functioning in the community.
With the dark days of treatment behind it, Griffin Memorial intends to stay at the forefront of psychiatric medicine in the years to come. Lindsay Gomez, OU Nightly.
Griffin is going to continue giving free tours to the public, and for more information about the next tour, visit the hospital's Facebook page.
Thank you, Aaliyah.
Thank you, guys.
Still ahead, Baker Mayfield continues to gain national recognition off the field.
And we'll go to Sawyer with a full look at the forecast.
Outside, but how long will that continue? I'll tell you that coming up.
Repairing Oklahoma's crumbling state capitol could cost twice the previous estimate. The project will include major changes to the 98-year-old building's interior, public accessibility, and security. Lawmakers are being told this afternoon that the latest design will raise the estimate from $120 million to $310 million.
All right, and so can we expect some more consistent temperatures this weekend?
Yeah, it is looking like those temperatures will continue on. There are some systems out to the west, which we'll look at on radar, but those are not going to affect us at all. So we're really lucky to have that. You can see up near Seattle, they are having some snow, heavy snow expected up in the mountains of Oregon and Washington. And then down in the southeast, we do have a dry line that's moving through Florida that is bringing with it some rainfall. You can see right here that dry line. There's that dry air right behind that dry line. That's going to continue to push on off to the east. And then up to the northwest, you can see that we have a big low pressure system, but that is going to stay up in Canada and not affect us at all. Overall, a lot of high pressures are building in throughout the entire United States, keeping most of the area with consistent temperatures. Overnight lows tonight, 34 in Norman, 36 in Oklahoma City, and then afternoon highs for tomorrow. Much the same story today, 56 in Oklahoma City and in Norman. Looking at our predictor, you can see those high pressure systems moving into the area, keeping our temperatures relatively consistent across the entire United States. This is at Friday at 9 a.m. and then tomorrow at 8 p.m. Once again, those high pressure systems still building into the area, that low pressure system moving on up into Canada, not affecting us at all. And then Saturday at 8 a.m., 37 in Oklahoma City and below freezing temperatures in much of the western United States. So it's going to be pretty cold. And then 8 p.m. on Saturday, we have a little dry line that's going to come through our area, but we're not expecting any showers or thunderstorms with it. Now, this has been one of our wettest years on record. Right now in Norman, we're currently in the second position. We are expecting to break that record because it's just through November at 58.66 inches of rain. And with that rain that we had over the last week and everything, the drought is nearly gone. You can see we just have a few dry patches just to the north and the southwest of Oklahoma City. Now looking at your 7-day forecast, you can see, like I said, it's pretty consistent throughout. 57 today, 56 tomorrow. We do expect a few high clouds to come into the area over the weekend, but going to keep temperatures much the same. 58 for Monday, and then the sun continues to be back out for the rest of the week. So it is looking very, very nice.
That's good. So no ice, no storms. That's pretty good news for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think in Oklahoma we're used to being inconsistent, so it's good to have some consistency. And now we're going to shoot over to Carson Williams, who is standing by with sports. Carson?
Thanks, BJ. And the Oklahoma men's basketball team plays tonight. I'll have a preview on that. But last night it was Sherry Cole's squad in action. Welcome aboard. I'm Carson Williams, and this is OU Nightly Sports. No game this weekend for the Sooners, but the spotlight still shines on the newly crowned Big 12 champions, especially Baker Mayfield. If there's an award for the top offensive player in the country, you can bet Baker Mayfield's name is on it. Despite all the hoopla, Mayfield knows being the quarterback at a place like Oklahoma would bring this type of attention.
It's going to happen. I'm at Oklahoma playing football. I'm the quarterback here, and so I'm in a spotlight where I'm going to get a lot of recognition and press, and people recognize me. So I've had to get used to that part of it. And so just the way I carry myself around everybody else is, it's changed a little bit to where I need to set the tone. Like I said, I need to be a role model. And so I know what comes with the territory.
Sherry Cole's women's basketball squad was in action at the Lloyd Noble Center last night, taking on Little Rock after facing a 5-point deficit in the second quarter. The Sooners closed the half out on a 7-0 run and took a 31-29 lead into the break. Oklahoma never trailed again, outscoring Little Rock 14-8 in the third and 20-15 in the final frame. Senior Kaylin Williams registered her 10th career double-double as the Sooners went on to win 65-52.
Early on, we established KK, and then we kind of went away from it, talked about at halftime how important it was to go back to her. And in the second half, I thought the guards did a great job of putting the ball in a place where she could score simply. And then the job that she did on the glass, 15 rebounds, it was just a pretty good night for number 42.
The 6th-ranked Oklahoma men's basketball team returns to the Lloyd Noble Center tonight to battle Central Arkansas. A win against the Bears would give the Sooners its first 5-0 start since the 2008-2009 season. Tip-off is set for 7 o'clock. Wisconsin-Syracuse last night. Today, though, Jim Boeheim's 9-game suspension upheld, effective immediately. Early first half, in transition, Tyler Lydon with the alley-oop slam. Move ahead to the second half. Vito Brown hits a 3 to tie it up for the Badgers. Under 2 to play. Bronson Koenig drains another 3 to knot it up at 53. In overtime, Wisconsin up 3. Ethan Happ with the tricky inbounds play gets the bucket. Wisconsin goes on to win in overtime 66-58, handing Syracuse its first loss of the season. Warriors-Hornets in Charlotte last night. Hornets honoring Del Curry before the game, basking in his glory days, but those days are over. And now it's all about the son, Steph Curry. We'll pick it up in the third quarter because that's where he did all his work. Steph draining shot after shot after shot. And here we go again, Steph Curry, bonkers. The reigning MVP dropped 28 of his 40 points in the third quarter as the Warriors improved to 20-0 with a 116-99 victory. And talk about up close and personal, Kobe Bryant's fan appreciation tour took a strange turn last night in Washington, D.C. This guy in the yellow jacket really needed to say goodbye to the Black Mamba in person. Personally, though, I'll wish him off on Twitter. He's going to read it, right? And you know, tonight, the Thunder are in Miami taking on the Heat. Kobe Bryant's last road game is actually in OKC, so Thunder fans will get to see, Kobe Bryant's last road game.
Yep. Thanks, Carson. The holiday season is just around the corner.
And Norman Animal Welfare is offering a different kind of gift for you to bring home to your family.
I'm Rebecca Walters at the OU Nightly Update Desk. Law officials confirmed today San Bernardino shooter Saeed Rizwan Farouk apparently was radicalized and in touch with terror suspects. Farouk's apparent radicalization contributed to his role in the mass shooting that killed 14 people last Wednesday. And the unfinished waterfront grill on Ed Noble Parkway was sold in auction yesterday. The restaurant was over a decade old when it was purchased through a foreclosure sale. That's it for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Rebecca. The Norman Animal Welfare Center will hold a puppy adoption this Saturday, featuring the last of the many dogs seized during a recent puppy mill investigation. 7 adult dogs and 20 puppies will be available for adoption. Breeds include Shih Tzu, Pomeranian, Chihuahua, and a miniature poodle Pekingese mix. A drawing will take place for those wishing to adopt. Registration is online at www.normanok.gov.
And you've adopted 2 puppies, haven't you?
Yes, not from this particular one, but my dog's at home. Yeah, they're both from the shelter.
You just go and you have to take one home.
I can't go in there because I always come home with a dog.
And windy temperatures tomorrow.
Yeah, windy conditions for tomorrow. Right now outside, you can see those winds up to the northwest, 15 coming out of the south. That will pick up as we go on through tomorrow night into Saturday once that high pressure builds into our system. So it's going to be pretty windy out for our Saturday.
All right. Thank you, Sawyer. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching.
And Carson, Thunder playing tonight. What
Thunder
can we
play
expect?
tonight in Miami. I expect Kevin Durant to go off because he always does in Miami.
He always does, and Russ.
And Russ too. You know, you have those, 2 guys that can always score points.
Definitely.
Hoping for a win tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it. And thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication.
We'll see you back here tomorrow night live at 4:30.
Have a great evening.
Good night.